Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Zoe and here I generally like to rummage around the attics of fashion history and see what I can plunder, but today we have an impulse project. I saw this and I just thought it was the cutest top for summer. So I have started knitting on the fairy Chasm vest, and it's part of a Jack in the Attic knit along. Now, I've never done a knit along before, and I'll be honest, I don't think ever bought a knitting pattern in my size. I've only ever bought knitting patterns for baby clothes, and I've always self-drafted everything that I've knit for myself. So I admit it's a rather fun adventure and not needing to do any of my own maths. We shall see how it goes. But I am feeling rather optimistic about the whole affair. I am now on day 3. I cast on Sunday. I thought in my infinite wisdom that I had 4.5mm circular needles. It turns out I didn't. I had 4s. I had 6s, I had 3.5s, and I had 6.5s, but did I possess anywhere a 4.5mm needle? No, I did not, at least not in circular. I had 4.5mm double-ended needles, so I cast this on using double-ended needles, knit to about here the other day. I am powering through it. I have to knit until this is, I think, 7.5 inches long on the body, but I'm going to trust the process because I'll be honest, so far this is a greatly enjoyable knit. I have never knitted an I-cord that was not on a French knitting dolly. I feel that I should perhaps practice the technique before making my straps. It is worth noting here that I did not follow my own advice, and I should have done. My straps are a little bit lumpy. They're fine, but there is a significant, a noticeable improvement between strap 1 and strap 2. Whoops. But at the moment I am just doing possibly the world's most allegedly boring stitch, which is knitting the entire way round, but I will admit I'm quite liking this because I can knit without actually looking at my work. The whole reason I learnt to knit actually is because my gran, growing up, had this party trick when we were children where she'd be knitting and watching us, and we'd be like, Granny, can I show you something? And we'd be showing her. We'd be like, Granny, you're knitting, you're not looking at me. And my gran would be like, yes, I am looking at you. I can see what you're doing because I can knit without looking. And we never believed her. So one day she got absolutely fed up of us little tykes going, Granny, you're not looking at me. So she was like, right, I've had it. Stick a blindfold over my face, and I will prove to you that I am, in fact, paying attention and looking at what you're showing me, or watching whatever show we're supposed to be watching together, and also knitting. She could knit with her eyes closed, she could knit without looking, she could also knit, I don't think she can do it anymore, but she used to do a party trick where she would put her hands behind her back, and I don't honestly know how she did it, but she'd put her hands behind her back, and because she could knit without looking, she would knit behind her back. I have never been able to do that, but I can knit with my eyes closed because the reason I learned how to knit was solely so I could do that as a party trick. As you can tell, I was an autistic child with no idea what actually happened at parties. Oh look, jolly good, another round done. If I'm just doing plain knitting, I can watch YouTube or I can watch Netflix. I'm currently watching Gilmore Girls for the first time. I think I'm on the 2nd or 3rd season. I have never watched it before. I didn't think it was necessarily going to be my thing, but everybody kept saying, no, it's amazing for just mindless stuff on in the background. It is surprisingly funny. I normally don't find TV shows that are supposed to be funny particularly amusing. I am often more baffled than I am amused. But this is actually funny. I can't watch it later on in the evenings when my partner goes to sleep before I do, because I will laugh and wake him up. I'm enjoying it. It's of its time, it's dated, you know, there are some lack of representation of, you know, basically anyone who's not thin and white, but for all that, it is a surprisingly okay show. It has held up. Normally things that people recommend like this, it's like a nostalgia thing, and people are watching it because they watched it in the past and then they keep watching it. But actually, I think if you have not actually watched it before and you have no nostalgic attachment to it whatsoever, I still think it holds up. I've got to say, actually, the early 2000s knitwear is particularly good. I really want to knit the Bigfoot hat that Lorelai wears in the first season because it's so cool. And I mean, someone on Ravelry must have done that, right? Like, there's no way, as a knitting community, that everyone has not, you know, jumped on that. I am going to stop this portion of the project blog because I will update you once I've got to the portion where I start splitting for the front and back, because otherwise this is going to be unbearably tedious for you to watch. Ta-ra! Because I was travelling with this project a lot, unfortunately I did not actually get any footage of me splitting at the point where you decrease to start the V's. I knit 2 exactly as the pattern is written, and then I ended up unravelling them because it made the tank top really, really low on me. Overall, I am so happy that I decided to join in on this knit along. I've not done a knit along before, and I don't think I would ever have necessarily thought to knit this pattern independently of the knit along, but when I saw the pattern in Jack in the Attic's video announcing the knit along, I just thought, oh wow, that's so cool, and I really liked how it played with proportions. The pattern writer Dora Violet from Witching Our Knits design does state that the pattern is not a modest piece, and in the photos, yeah, you can definitely see that. With my particular body type, I did find that the pattern was too low for me to wear. Now, I do not mind a little bit of immodesty. I'm quite happy to get the girls out, but the fact that it went down nearly to my navel was, I think, a step too far for my personal clothing preferences. Definitely think I'm going to need to block this. Apparently the curling up should stop when it's blocked. If not, I can always add a little bit of length. Now, I have lost some length because I cut out the first row of decreases where you only decrease every 4th row because I knit one side completely. I tried it on, which I should have filmed and forgot, but it was way too low cut, and even if I was to wear it over a bralette, I just couldn't work out how I would style it. I think it worked very well on the designer Dora, who is definitely a different shape. I'm 4'8" and a size 14 to 18 for reference, so to knit the right size for my bust measurement, I think the rest of the proportions on my body are a bit off, but that's normal. I'm a short stature person, and so I'm not necessarily expecting a pattern designed for people of standard stature to fit me properly. That's not outside the realms of what I expect to need to adjust. I think that it would be really cute if it had the very low V, don't get me wrong, but then I think it would hit in a weird point on me. So I'm happy with that decision. It fits. My natural waist is just here, so I think with a bit of blocking that will be good. I think the back is cute. I do think I want to add the bit of I-cord on the back, but I wanted to try it on first before I made that decision, but I think that would be cute. I do think it's cute. I like that design detail in the original. I don't think that this needs it to like make sure it will stay put on my body, but I think it's just cute, so I'm going to do it anyway. I've got a lovely sunny day. It should dry fairly quickly, so let's block it first. It is the next day, and this is after blocking, and the change is kind of crazy. Look how much it grew. And I did not block this aggressively. This cotton just apparently likes to like double in size. This fit like this before I blocked it, which is kind of crazy. I'm not mad about it. I think it's cute. I do think it's cute. Not done the back strap yet. Should probably lean on something. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm gonna decide whether I like it like this or whether I should dye it black. Because if I dyed it black, I could wear it over my black bralette and it would be less of a clash. I don't know. Or maybe I should just get black cotton and knit a third one. I already started on the second one. I had some hand-dyed cotton yarn that I didn't know what to do with, so I'm doing a stripy one. Yeah, I think it's pretty cute. Already wore it out, got a couple compliments. People seem to like it. It's really nice. It's very like floaty. It's nice. I like it. I am supremely satisfied.
I wonder which one of you will get your cars done first.
Liam.
Me.
Liam's ran.
No,
Mine
sorry.
Oh.
And the camper.
Yeah, the camper, yeah.
Well, the camper is my priority to get it ready so I can then get the
The
scimitar.
camper is missing one pipe until it goes.
Yeah, it's had the engine reconstructed by an actual garage.
Yeah.
The head was re-skimmed, new gaskets all around they chucked on them, new water pump, new thermostat.
Obviously, I really enjoy this pattern because I've already started a second one, but I'm knitting this 3 sizes smaller than the first one I knit, just because when I blocked it, it grew a lot more than I expected from the gauge swatch. So, whoops. Happy birthday, dear Ollie. Happy birthday to you. While I was camping, I got all the way to knitting the decreases and starting on the straps. So you can see I'm not currently that far again. The reason for this being I dislocated my hip the second day of the camping trip. Not my finest moment, I'll be real with you. For anybody who's worried, I have a condition that means I dislocate my hips very easily. I wasn't in any kind of high-speed collision or anything traumatic. I stepped down from a caravan. And that was me done, yeah. It happens. It does, however, mean that I'm on bed rest for the next week, which, in terms of my normal job, bit of a bummer. In terms of how much knitting I'm going to get done, fabulous. So, I was on a lot stronger pain meds than I normally am. And I should know better than to try and to follow a pattern. So the first mistake I made is this section here. I wasn't knitting it as 2 sections. I was only decreasing on the sides. So I had 1 massive triangle in the front and 2 triangles in the back. So I've started again. Whoops. I had the pattern right there. I just was incapable of reading it. Luckily this is a very easy wool to pull back, so it wasn't a big problem. But yeah, so I've now redivided. I'm knitting the back instead. I don't know. I know you're supposed to start with the front, but I had started with the front and I've messed it up severely, so for whatever reason I've ended up with this now. I am following the 4-row decrease pattern instead of the 2-row decrease pattern, because the first time I knit this, I realised that if I did the 4-row decrease pattern then the 2-row decrease pattern, it was going to be really, really low. But I've gone down, this is 3 sizes smaller than the size I knit up first. You may see that I've added like a little lace panel. I don't know, I just thought it would be cute. I liked the idea of there being just like a little bit of lace, a little bit cheeky. And what I'm gonna do is, once I've knit the front V and the back V's, the straps, and then the little I-cord bit that goes across the back, depending how much wool I have left, I would like to pick up these stitches and knit a lace panel on the bottom, because if I'd have thought about it for more than like I'll just cast on a second one, I would have maybe drawn it out and seen that 3 stripes of pink at the bottom and then a large amount of blue at the top. It feels a little bit unbalanced. And you can see here that this is 8 rows each, this is only 4 because this is the back. I did it so I had 8 rows on the front, and yeah, I've got kind of a jog in the stripe here, but I don't really care. I'm wearing this around my house to go camping. I wore my fairy chasm top nearly all weekend. It was fantastic. I wore it to work actually, in a single colour. I think it worked quite well over a white t-shirt as a work layering piece, but I work in an art gallery so I don't have to be like office smart. I work in an art gallery. I'm really happy with this. It's really nice to have my own hand-dyed wool, my hand-dyed yarn to play with. I think it goes really nicely with the blue. I'm pleased. I think I would have had enough blue left over to completely knit another one without any stripes, but I really wanted to use up my hand knitted yarn, and it was the same weight, and I think it's really cute. I'm gonna block this one differently. That one I steam blocked when it was on the hanger and it spread out really far, so I think when I block this one I'm gonna wet block it and pin it out. I think the way I blocked it may have stretched it out more, but equally the drape of that fabric is so stunning that I don't mind that it wasn't all that intentional. So here I'm only decreasing every other knit row, which is effectively then every 4th row, until I get to 21 stitches wide. Then I will start decreasing 2 stitches every knit row. I really like this pattern. I'm definitely thinking that I kind of want to get a plain black cotton and knit myself a 3rd one in black like the pattern illustration shows. I think it would be so cute in black, but I kind of want to hold some kind of sparkly embroidery thread, or maybe play with beads in the knit, something to give it a little bit of pizzazz. So I made good progress yesterday. I managed to knit both back sections and I've started on one of the front V's, which I'm quite pleased about. I did try to follow the pattern as gospel, but when I got up to 31 decreases from 41 in the 4-row repeat pattern, I realised very quickly that if I did that, the proportions were going to be off, because of how short my torso is. So I instead knit until I got to 31 decreases, then I started the every other row decrease pattern, just because I needed to lose a chunk about yay big from the front if this was going to fit how I wanted it to. Hoping I can at least finish this today. If I finish both, that would be great. Working out, I think once it's blocked, the lace is going to look so cute. This fabric behaves so differently after it's been blocked than it does when it's knit. I've admittedly knitted very few things in cotton, but I am always surprised by how this behaves before and after blocking, especially if I steam block it. So I think I might wet block it just so it doesn't grow too much in theory. I don't know. I keep stroking it. It's very soft. This cotton knits up quite soft. It's got quite a lot of size in it, I think, from the milling process. When you're knitting with it, it's not crunchy, but it's not very drapey. And then as soon as you wash that size out, it just stretches and becomes loose and flowy. And I mean, I guess if you were really worried about the fit of your item, it maybe wouldn't be ideal, but for something like this, when you embrace that property rather than fighting it, it works really well. I finished the first front V doodah, whatever we're calling it, I don't know, division. Yep, I'm on to the second one. Obviously you've already seen that I've done the back ones earlier in the vlog. I will admit I did not knit an I-cord for this. I knit it flat and it's curling up on its own. If it starts to make the V section of the tank top curl up, then I will simply sew it and then it will be a mock I-cord. Because I'm not in the mood to knit with 4.5 double-ended needles and this yarn. I don't mind it when I'm knitting much finer gauge on DPNs. In fact, it turns out I prefer to knit finer gauge on DPNs than DK weight. Apparently it's a witchery day. I'm just talking everybody's ear off. But yeah, I'm working out that the easiest way for me to visually track where I am with the 4 row decreases is to just have a little army of stitch markers there. I am hopeful that I will be able to finish the knitting portion of this today. I don't honestly know if I'm physically up to the act of blocking, and I'll be honest, I am going to eat something and then I'm going to have a little bit of a nap, or at least I'll lie down and listen to my audiobook. Can't keep my eyes open and I don't want to start making stupid mistakes with my knitting, so I'm going to call it for a little while. And then I am really pleased with how this has come out. It should stretch out a bit after it's been blocked. I have a lot of the wool left. I have 1 full ball and then 3 partial skeins, 1 that's nearly full and then 2 little bits. And I think I have more than enough to do a blue layer on the bottom to balance the stripes out a bit, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with how it's turned out proportions wise. Obviously it's not blocked yet, so it's still fitting quite tight. It will relax. This wool is a very relaxy wool, so yarn, cotton, whatever. Yeah. I try and say wool when it's got wool in it and yarn when it doesn't, but the terms are also completely interchangeable. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. One thing I'd like to note, I did find a very small mathematical error. It was literally just, it said 10 times instead of 8 times for a repeat, which was true for the smaller sizes, but was not true for the larger sizes that I was knitting. And I wasn't sure if I was just missing a trick or something, because I am dyslexic, it happens. Then I woke up the other day to an email from Ravelry telling me that the pattern had been updated to fix a mathematical error, so it's worth noting that the pattern is being updated as there are any errors to be found, but I think that's the only one. Like, it was a perfectly written pattern, it was really easy to follow. I have not followed a pattern, a modern pattern, for anything my size before, so it was a nice experiment for me. I really enjoyed this. It has been a very, I think they call it potato chip knits, where you don't want to put it down because it's really good, and I've got to say, they're not wrong. It's been a delightful experience, and I would definitely recommend the pattern designer and any designs that she might already have out or put out in the future. I am really excited to try some of her other patterns. I think Dora Violet is a fabulous pattern designer. They're really fun and engaging patterns. They are a little bit different, a little bit quirky, and I really enjoy that from my knitwear. I think there's a place, you know, for the more traditional styles in knitwear, but it's really fun when someone like pushes the boat out and tries something a little bit different. If this has inspired you to give this pattern a go, let me know. The knit along is running the entire month of May, I believe, and you just use Fairy Chasm KAL as the hashtag. I'll put it on screen here. Oh, that's funny, if I do that you can see my bees. Wow, distracted much. Sorry, I'm playing with a new mode on my camera. I should stop doing that. I've got an outro to film. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment or subscribe, or don't. I'm not your mum, I can't tell you what to do. Anyway, I will see you anon for another video. If you want to keep up with stuff happening behind the scenes, you can follow me on Instagram at Zoe Story.